Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Telemedicine Chick weekly show. My name is Lori, your host and your Telemedicine Chick. In this show, every week I come on and I tell you my experiences and my processes to getting my own private telemedicine practice going. But before we get started, please make sure that you like and subscribe. Please help me, help grow this channel, and then also subscribe so that you never miss when we're publishing our weekly show. So make sure you do that first, and then let's get into the show and see what I've been up to this week. Hello, everyone. Lori, your Telemedicine Chick. Welcome to another week's episode of our show as I talk about my journey to starting my own private practice. This week, it's been a little slow this week, but I'm still chipping away and getting there one day at a time. I think that, as I'm also working a little bit in the background while I'm getting this going. So sometimes I get a little bit behind in my goals and what I'm going to be doing every day, but that is okay. I'm totally, completely fine with that. As I'm just slowly getting into the spot where I'm able to launch everything. There's a couple things that I definitely want to go over with you that I have been thinking about and working on in the background. Last week when I left you, I was getting deep really into creating that website for my practice. And I got to the point where I can't go anymore with the practice, with developing everything, because I have to get that next step, and that is that EMR. And then also, I know that I mentioned that I came up with a name. I know that I'm keeping you guys all in suspense, but I'm trying to make sure that I have everything in place before I do my big reveal of my practice name. And that is another thing that I wanted to talk to you about when I'm trying to do now. I've got my lawyer set up. I haven't met with them yet, but I am in that process of getting that scheduled and stuff to make sure that we're all legal and everything. And another thing that we need to figure out is a logo, right? I got the name, but I need to have that logo. So those are two things that I'm going to talk to you about today, about my logo and about an EMR system. And let's start off with a logo. So as we keep creating and getting this business, our private practice, and if you can remember way back in the beginning, one of the beginning episodes, we were talking about a business name, whether it's just going to be, you could do your name, LoriFalkware.com. Not that exciting, but getting that business name. And then as we keep thinking about what we're doing and where we're going with it, at one point, we're going to have to market it, right? We're going to have to get the word out there to say, hey, here I am, come see me. And one of the things that you want to present is not only your website, but then also your logo. You want it to kind of like look cool and, inviting again. So I'm in that process of creating that logo for my business. Now, there's two parts of this. One is, how do you create a logo, right? What is it that you need it to look like? And what are I didn't even think about, there are a couple of ways when you have that logo that you want to also create, a couple of things. One, we have the name of the company, right? And everybody has like a different font or a different way that they present that, right? So there's that logo that is going to be your business name, with possibly a tagline underneath, right? So you have that name, you're like XYZ Health or whatever, and then you have like that little tagline, that little grab line that kind of tells you what you're doing, unless your business name puts out there exactly what you're doing, right? Like, let's take Nike, right? I don't know why I'm just throwing that out there, right? Well, if you know what Nike is, but Nike's not really going to define what it is that you do. So sometimes people add a tagline on that. So you're going to have like this logo, which is like your business name, and it's going to have a certain typograph, like, or a font that's going to be look beautiful and kind of like inviting, right? For people to look at it and go, "Oh, cool. I really look at that name and look at the way that it's presented. Like, let me click on that and see what that's all about." And then you also have the logo, which is just like maybe a symbol or an icon that may have a little bit of your business name underneath or something like that. But that symbol that when people look at it, again, we'll go an example of Nike, right? You can look at the word Nike, but then you also have that cool symbol that when everybody sees it, or even when you take cars, right? If you just took a symbol, you could be like, I name that car, that car, that car. You know all of the type of cars. So you want to have that icon as well that kind of symbolizes you and is cool, and you can identify with it. And you can also, like, when you see it, bam, you know exactly who that is and what they're doing. And then you want to also take that logo, right, and maybe have it dark with a light background, and then the reverse, having a dark background with the lightness. So these are the things that I'm kind of learning, right? When I think of, when I was thinking of logo, I'm thinking just a little symbol or something like that, but it goes a little bit deeper than that, right? It goes into the name, and then it also goes into like having that little icon. So there's a lot to consider. Now, I can try to create my own, in platforms like Canva. You could go in there and you can, like, they have samples, but those are just everyday samples, right? There's a likelihood that someone else is going to have my logo if I go in there and I just do that. But then there's the possibility of getting someone else to do it. And there's a couple of ways to you can do that, right? And looking and searching for, how am I going to find my logo? What is it going to look like? And do I create it on my own? Which, if I create it on my own, will obviously save a little money on my pocket. But there are platforms like Fiverr. If you've never heard of Fiverr, it's a great little platform where you can actually hire people to do a whole bunch of things. And depending on where they are in their career, maybe it's a little side gig, or maybe they're just getting started in their niche. So whether it's a graphic design or there's so many things that you can go on in Fiverr and find somebody to do for you. It is absolutely, review your resume. I mean, there's just, you name it, you can go in there. If you ever want a side gig of doing something that you love doing, such as proofreading college papers, scholarly papers, you could go in there and you can slap yourself up there and you could start doing and making some money. It's pretty cool, actually. So there is the idea of going on Fiverr and finding someone. But with Fiverr, when you're picking someone, depending on, they have different little packages that you can pick. You can have one where it's like really cheap, but you only get one, and maybe you don't have the rights to use it for your business. Or you can get, they can give you 5 with so many revisions. Like, there's different little packages. And, you could go on and see their previous work, but, what are the chances of you actually really liking what they give you? And this is what I'm thinking inside my head. Like, I've used Fiverr before, and I've done it for certain things. And let me tell you something, it's pretty cool, and I've been really happy with it. But sometimes you have to pay a little extra to have like those unlimited revisions, to make sure that you are really happy with what you are paying for. But a good friend of mine actually said, well, what, they had a friend who went on a website, and you have like a contest in a way, right? You put your idea, you put everything that you want, and then it goes out to all these people that are on this platform, and it's a contest, and you can get 50 logo ideas or whatever it is that you want. You can get 50 logo ideas or 100, depending on your, from what I understand. I haven't gotten like completely into it. I found a website that I'm like, this is really cool, because I'm paying maybe a little bit extra than what I want, but I'm going to get so many options and so many unique options that I think that I'm going to do it. But you can get like 50, you could get 100, and like they're from all over the world of ideas of your logo. And then you can also be like, okay, I like this logo, but I don't like the color. Or I like this logo, but I don't like this little, I don't, I'm just throwing out there. I don't like the font of maybe the name of my company. Can we change it a little bit? And you can keep going back and saying, this is what I want. This is what I want. And then you get the end result. And if you get the end result and you're really, really happy, then one, you get yourself a logo, but then your money that you paid for it goes to the artist or graphic designer or whoever, I think it's graphic designers that actually create them. And then the money goes to them. But the great thing about it, even better, is if you get all of those ideas and you do not like one of them, and you don't download, you don't do anything, you get your money back. I mean, how awesome is that? To me, I'm always like, whenever in our household, we are Amazon freaks. I call ourselves Amazon freaks. And I'm always saying to my husband, make sure you get free returns. Make sure you get free returns. I'm really into that because if you get something, then you want to be able to return it, right? Well, that really actually, I really like that idea that if I don't really like any of the things, that I'm going to actually get my money back because I'm not actually paying. But like, I don't want to have to pay for something that I really don't like. And I can even tell you that it's even better. I'm going to tell you experience I had this week, which I think was a little comical, and this is where I'm glad that I didn't pay a lot of money. So I'm sure that you guys have seen that, AI is doing so many different things out there nowadays, which to me is cool, but it's a little scary at times. But I needed to get a photo of myself for my website. So I don't have a professional, photo of myself. So, and I'm like, where am I, one, I don't want to take the time to go out and, find a photographer, pay them a lot of money to do a whole bunch of photos for me. And then, the whole process, and how long does that take, right? So I'm like, hey, these people are doing this AI photos, right? You upload like so many photos of yourself, and then it spits out a professional headshot, or so they say that it's a professional headshot of yourself that you can use. And if you go on these websites, they actually I'm like, oh my God, check that out. Like, that looks amazing. I've got to try it. So there are a lot of websites that are a little bit more expensive, but the person I am, I'm like, I don't want to spend like $30, $40, $50 for this. Like, what if I don't like it? And so I found one. Now, maybe because I didn't spend a lot of money, I didn't get a great photo, but this website that I went on, there was like all these great reviews. It's one of the top places, da, 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 da. So I did it. I mean, it wasn't a lot of money. It was like $10. And thank God I only paid $10 because the pictures were awful. I'm like, it was cool. I mean, I will let you say that it was my face, but it wasn't anything, my hair. It was absolutely, they gave me all these photos of like my hair, like really short, dark. Like it was almost like it only took my face. And that's the only thing that it took. It did not take my hair at all. And I have to say too, and I'm a little bit, like sometimes I could think I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, a little too much. When I was looking at the photos, it was like my head was a little bit slightly bigger than my actual body. And I'm like, well, that doesn't even look right. It's not even proportionate to my body. It wasn't that much, but it's like the little tiny details that I'm like looking at it. But my face, it looked like my face. My hair, I don't know whose hair. It was literally like as if they took my face and slapped it on other people with different hair, like really dark hair, really short, like a bob. And even like the long haired ones, didn't even, there were my hair's a little wavy, right? It's not completely straight. And these photos were like poker straight, like you can, totally straight hair, even if it was long. And I was like, wow, this is not what I expected. But anyway, let's go back to what we were talking about. I just had to tell you that little funny story because I actually laughed when I saw these photos. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, that's not even me. Then I started sharing it with my friends. I'm like, hey, do you want to laugh? Here, check this out. And we all got a laugh out of it. But anyway, let's get back to my logo. So with the logo, I think that I'm going to do this contest, right? It's called Design Crowd. And you go on there and you do your little, it's a contest, and they are going to give me a whole bunch of logos that I'm going to be able to choose from. And the one thing I want to make sure though is that I do want that logo where it's like, my company name with a little tagline, but then also I want that really cool and unique icon that when people see it, they're going to be like, oh, I know who that is. That is Lori's private practice. So that is what I'm going to be working on this week. I'm pretty excited. I'm a little hesitant too, in the essence that I still got to meet with that lawyer. I want to make everything legal. I want to make sure I don't think anybody's going to take my name. I've searched for it everywhere and it's not out there. So I'm kind of excited about that. But I definitely want to make sure that, my I's are dotted and my T's are crossed. So that is what I'm going to be doing with my logo, is getting onto this design crowd, giving it a whirl to see a contest. And I think that is going to be really fun because you also can share it with your friends and family and say, hey, what do you think of these logos? Like, do you think any of these are really cool? So it's not only like a contest that you can be viewing, but you can share it with your friends, with your family, and check it out. So I'm really, really excited about that and seeing how that goes. These are the fun things that have been happening as I create my private practice. I'm learning so much, even more than I did before when I tried to start this practice like over 7 years ago. And it's a fun ride. I'm really, really having a great time, and hopefully you're having a great time as you come along with me. So before we do go into the next thing, which we're going to be talking about in EMR, and as I'm saying, I hope that you're enjoying what we're doing here and how I'm taking you along with me on my journey. Please make sure that you share, like, and follow this show on whatever platform you're watching or listening to help me grow this channel and help me get out there. I want to inspire more and more nurses and nurse practitioners when it comes to telemedicine. And your help to get me to spread the word out there will be so greatly appreciated. And also, I want you to keep coming back. I want you to keep seeing the show. I want you to keep going along with the journey for me. So please make sure that you like, share, or follow my show on whatever platform that you are using. Thank you. And that is going to take us into the next thing that I want to talk to you about, and that is choosing an EMR. There are lots of them out there. And when I'm thinking about the EMR system that I want to use, there are lots of things to consider. And I want to kind of go over a little bit of those, and then the ones that I've done a lot of demos, talked to a lot of different people. I've chosen one. Is it going to be the best one? I don't know. We're going to soon find out. I actually signed up for it yesterday because it was having a sale. Yay! I'm excited to actually get started on it. So when we're thinking about an EMR system, there are a couple of things that we want to think about. One of the things is going to be, does it have the ability to get onto your website, right? I think I kind of mentioned it in a previous show about widgets. And widgets are, if you're creating a website, a widget is, it's the ability to actually take whatever scheduling platform that you are going to be using, and it actually integrates into your website. So you can have a page that says, schedule or book now your appointment. And when they go on there, it's actually your scheduler, but it's like actually embedded into that page. So you want to make sure that I wanted to make sure that I have the ability to do that. I didn't want to be like, well, here, click this link, and then it's taking me over to that EMR system. You want to, like, for me, I want to keep my peeps on my website as much as I can and not actually redirect them to someplace else. So you want to make sure that you have that. You want to also, and this was interesting when I was getting demos, is that you want at least for me, right? I wanted my patients, my potential and my existing patients, to be able to schedule the appointment right off the bat. There was actually, and I can't remember the name of it, unfortunately, there was an EMR system that a patient could schedule it, but then they tentatively schedule it. You get alerted, and then you have to approve of it in order for actually to be scheduled. And I don't want that. I want patients to come on and be like, I want to book my appointment. Bam, I got it. It's scheduled, and there I'm ready to go. And I have to say that website was really cool. Their EMR system was really cool. But when they told me that, I'm like, no. I'm like, where? I mean, for the most part, when you schedule anything online, it's not like approval. At least that's my thought process. That could be wrong, but I want the patients to have the ability to just book it, and then they get that confirmation that you are booked and you are ready to go. So that was really important. Appointment reminders, right? I want to make sure that when it comes to, because I don't know when that patient's going to schedule, right? Initially, I'm going to have a lot of availability, and they'll probably be able to get an appointment right away. But what if they're not available for another week, and you don't want them to, forget about their appointment? And let's face it, it happens even when you're doing something in person. So I wanted to have that ability to not only text, but also email them before their appointment and getting that appointment reminder. I wanted to have a portal. I wanted a patient portal, right? I want the patient to be able to go in there, see their visits, see their prescriptions, see whatever educational information I give. I decided that I'm not going to be taking any insurance or anything like that. So if they want to submit to their insurance company, I want them to be able to have access to their super bill or their invoice, right? And that was another thing. I wanted to make sure that even though I'm not going to take insurance, that I can still provide them with a super bill that they can submit to their insurance if they do want to do that. And then that, having that ability. And then, because I am taking only going to be cash, I want to make sure, hey, can I take FSH and FSA and HSA? And I want to make sure I can be able to do that. I want to make sure that I can have different forms, right? If a patient, so my concept is what I would like to do is a patient to schedule an appointment, and they automatically not only get a confirmation, but they're going to get an intake questionnaire that they're going to need to fill out, because I want them to fill that out, and then I'm going to review it. And then, let's just suppose their health condition, I know right off of the bat that I'm not going to be able to take care of them in telehealth way, right? Or telemedicine way, because that can happen, right? I do not want to waste their time. I don't want to waste their money, and I don't want to waste my time. So I want to have that questionnaire that they're able to fill out. And if, let's just suppose, I don't know what it could be, but let's just suppose I'm like, this person is not a good candidate for telemedicine, to reach out to them immediately. And I have this workflow that we're going to talk about, workflow of a patient, but having that follow up with them and telling them, like, listen, I really think that based on your medical intake, I really think it'll be best for you to have an in-person care. So I want to be able to have that as well. And also when you have, even when you're in a physical clinic, when a patient fills out their medical history, you're able to just do a little quick review before you see that patient. So why not be able to have that ability when you're doing telemedicine as well? So that. And then also, we're doing telemedicine, right? We're going to be doing video visits. We also want to have the ability to do that async. So if you're not in telemedicine yet, there are two types of visits that we always talk about. We talk about synchronous and asynchronous, sync or async. So when it comes to synchronous, those are what we qualify as video visits. Just like if, well, it's not like this show if you're on YouTube, because I would actually see, but it's a two-way, like, if you're doing Google Meet or Zoom meeting, it's the same kind of concept. Where asynchronous is not a video visit. There's no audio at all. It's just messaging, right? So you typically will get a intake questionnaire, you can review it, and then you're having a messaging going back and forth between the patient, and that is how that patient is, how that appointment is done. Sorry about that. So I also wanted to have the ability to do that going forward, right? Let's just suppose I have a patient that I see them on a video visit once a month and things are kind of going good, and but I want to keep checking in with them, and they don't necessarily either have the time, or let's just suppose one month they're like, I'm really busy, can I just check in with you another way? I wanted to have that ability to have that asynchronous kind of visit, quote unquote, with them. So I wanted to make sure that I had a EMR system that I would have that ability. Also, the ability to have templates, right? When it comes to forms, right? There's going to be lots of different forms that we're going to want. We're going to want patient education forms. We're going to want that intake questionnaire, that follow-up questionnaire. You're also going to want templates for your visits. Like, who wants to be typing out the same, like, typing everything out all the time? So I wanted to make sure that we had those kind of things. So there's all of these little things. Oh, and I can even think of more. The ability to maybe fax something to a patient, right? What if a patient needs to transfer care, or they're still going to stay with you, but you want to make sure that they're informing their primary care provider, or for me, I'm a women's health nurse practitioner. I want to make sure that, let's suppose, hey, listen, I can still take care of you, but I need you to have a physical exam. I need you to go to your GYN, or maybe now I can't take care of them anymore because the situations are changing in person. I want to be able to share those medical records with the patient. And I don't want to be like, oh, I got to download, I want to have something that's all integrated right into it. And there are some pretty cool EMR systems that do all of that. So some of them, they're great. I will say that Athena, which is, a lot of people may know Athena. They probably work with Athena, but I have to tell you that it is an expensive platform. I may have mentioned this before in a previous show. I spoke with the lady with the system, and it was great initially. I think I can mention this. She's like, well, it's like, I'm like, all right, what's the pricing? This sounds really great. And she says, well, it's either $5. She said, first she just said or. She didn't even say or. She said, it's $5 a patient. And I'm thinking, initially, that's going to be really good, because let's face it, I'm not going to have 100 people like knocking on my door right away, right? I got to build that up. So what if I'm getting one patient, two patients, or even three patients? Like, what is that going to look like? So I was like, ooh, that doesn't sound bad. She goes, or if you don't get to the $500 mark, it's $500 a month. So regardless, it's always going to be $500 a month. And right now, my budget does not include $500 a month. So I had to kindly move on from that. But the cool thing, and maybe one day I will go to Athena when I'm really popular and my practice is going. The cool thing about Athena is they do actually have a customer support number that helps your patients when it comes to scheduling an appointment. How cool is that? And now that I'm thinking about even me scheduling appointments at, various practices, I think they were using Athena because when I would call, I would get that and they wouldn't really have really much information when it came to the practice. They're just like, listen, I could just schedule your appointment. But they're probably using that EMR platform. So as much as that one was really, really cool, it's just way out of my budget and I just cannot go there right now. So I kept moving on and I kept like seeing like what else. There is Simple Practice. When I looked on there, I think that there are some providers that use it, but it seemed like when I'm reading their website and stuff like that, it seemed like it was more for therapists. So I kind of moved on from there. And I did look at other ones. The one that I decided on, and I'm not quite sure if it's going to be perfect. We're going to definitely find out because I just signed up yesterday for it, is Practice Q. Practice Q also integrates with Intake Q, where Intake Q are like your questionnaires and forms and stuff like that. But I did do a demo with Practice Q. It seemed to be very simple. I liked the platform of it. When you look at it, it's very simple because, let's face it, I have been in some EMR systems that telemedicine practices use, and they're pretty complicated or they don't look up to date and more modern. And I felt like this one was really modern and up to date, and it ticked all of the bells and whistles. I can do that sync and async. It has the telemedicine, the video component right within it. So it's going to be HIPAA. Everything is on the up and up. I don't have to use, because some systems or some practices will do everything separately, right? Like you have an EMR system and then you have a video, whether you're using Doxy is, if you ever heard of Doxy, Doxy is a telemedicine video, like you get a little waiting room. That has been around for a very long time. That is actually what I used originally for when I started my practice. I actually used Doxy, and the great thing about, I don't know about Doxy now per se, but Doxy back then was free when you were just a solo practitioner and you had low volume. And so I actually used them a long time ago. And it is amazing. And then I have used them in a couple of other practices that I have worked in since. It has improved over the years, I will say, because I'll never forget my first visit doing telemedicine with my practice, and it was a little like grainy. I'm going to apologize because that is, if you are listening on my podcast, you might not see it, but if you were in the video, you just saw my cat's tail pass right by the video. So I do apologize for that. But some people will have like an EMR system, and then they will have a video platform, right? They're having everything kind of separate. And I really wanted everything all within one because I don't want to be like, oh, I got to connect this. I got to connect this. Even for scheduling, when, let's see, back in the day again, I had 3 different systems. I had an EMR system just for the medical records. I had a Doxy to do my videos. And then I also had, a Calendly to schedule appointments. That's like too many things. I wanted it all into one, integrated into one. And that's what this does. So it's pretty cool. It has everything. It's got the widget, it's got a scheduling, it got appointment reminders, it's got forms, it got templates. It has the ability to, this is something that I'm toying around with, do I just charge per visit or do I have that membership/subscription? Because a lot of people are doing that when it comes to online private practices or even the big telemedicine companies, they do it as well. And it has that ability to do that and to charge people monthly. They have all the bells and whistles. Oh, and another thing that I totally forgot about that I wanted to mention. So one of the things is that we're going to be talking about as I go forward is compounding pharmacies. I want to use a compounding pharmacy. There's so many of them out there. But this EMR system integrates with compounding pharmacies. Now, initially, I probably will not, because with the EMR system, so I signed up yesterday for it, I get 2 weeks of a trial, which, most platforms do that. But the first 2 months, I get 50% off of the monthly fee. And when you're starting up, that is huge. I'm so excited about that. So that was a major win for me this week. As soon as I saw that it came up, I'm like, oh, 50% off. I'm so excited. So I got that 50% off of the first 2 months. And that'll be great as I am still getting my practice up and running. And, I'm not going to have like 100 visits within the first month. Well, let's put that out there. Wait a minute. I am going to have 100 visits right off the bat. But as I get that practice going, it'll be great to have that discount for that first 2 months. So I'm really excited about it. I think for the way that the payment structure is that depending on how many patients you have, they have a 2-tier kind of system. So I'm excited. So if I get up to 25 patients per month, it is $50 per month. They do have, if you're going to e-subscribe, it does have there is an added fee. It is $65 a month, which with the compounding pharmacies typically you can have a portal with them, right? So all of those are going to give you like a portal that you can log into and you can send the subscription. I think initially that is what I'm going to do because again, I'm starting off and I do have a startup budget and I'm trying to keep it to the point where when I'm starting off, I have the ability to keep going for several months as I continue to build up my practice at the lowest fee possible. So that's going to be really handy. And then I can add that on at any time. I can add providers on if I decide to grow my practice. It has all of these little bells and whistles. So I'm really excited. I'm going to start diving in because I think in the beginning, as I kind of said, got my website to a spot, right? And now I need to get that EMR so I can start plugging in my schedule widget and I can see exactly how everything works and how I want to, because on my website, in my FAQs, I'm going to have, how does this work? What is the patient workflow? I'm going to have a page like, this is the workflow that's going to happen. Well, I'm not going to call it a workflow, but a patient flow, so that they know exactly what the steps are going to happen, because there might be people that might come on that have never done a telemedicine visit and they don't have any idea of how this even works. So I want to have a page where it outlines the steps for them. And I can't really do that unless I have my EMR and I know the steps that we'll be taking on the EMR side of it. So I'm at that point with the website. Now I've got my EMR. Now I'm going to get into my EMR. I'm going to set it up because there are lots of things. I got to go to my forms. There's lots of little things that I have to do in there. And I'm really excited about that as I keep plugging along starting my telemedicine practice. So those are the two things that I wanted to talk to you about today. I'm really excited to get into that design crowd to get my logo. And I'm really excited to start diving deep into my EMR system that I have chosen. And I'll let you know how it is the next time I see you or talk to you. And those are what I'm going to be doing the next week. So I'm very excited about that. So that is conclusion to that part of the show. As you know, I always love to, at the end, give you a little bit of inspiration just to keep you plugging along. And that inspiration is for you in your life in general, in your career, or maybe your telemedicine career, depending on where you want to go. Of course, I love telemedicine and I'm always going to promote, get into telemedicine. It's amazing. But today what I want to talk about is I want to give you a little inspiration if you are right now in a job that you're like, I don't like my job. I don't want to be here anymore. And let's face it, we have all been there at some point. I've been a nurse practitioner. I'm just going to say over 20 years because that'll make me feel a little bit younger compared to the actual number that it is. But I've been in healthcare for over 20 years. I've been in telemedicine for over 7, and I have had my share jobs that I really, really, really don't like. I don't like being there. I don't want to be there anymore. And it's frustrating when you feel like you're stuck, right? Because you need to have a job, you need to have income depending on your financial situation. Not everyone has the ability to be like, I don't like my job. I'm just going to leave. And that'll be it. I don't have to worry about money or anything. Let's face it, you're very lucky if that's you. But for the most part, when we have a job, we need to have a job in order to support our families. And when we don't like our job and we're frustrated and we don't like it anymore, when we don't like a job, things that happen are going to be like you dread going there. You don't care. You're not motivated to go to work. When you're seeing your patients, you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't really want to be here anymore. And that is a really hard place to be. And I understand over my many years of my career, I have been there. But I want you to see, if you're in that position right now, I want you to see this as a different kind of opportunity. I want you to see this as an opportunity for growth and expansion. So right now, you're in a place that you really are not happy. But this is also a place that you can sit, reflect, and figure out, where do you really want to be? Is it a certain type of job? Is it in a certain type of area in healthcare? Is it expanding on your own and getting your own private practice? Is it that you're not in telemedicine, but you want to be in telemedicine? And when you reflect and get there, then what I really truly want you to do is, every day when you get up in the morning and you're getting ready for work, I want you to stand in front of the mirror and I want you to have a little conversation with yourself, which I do sometimes. But I want you to look in the mirror and say to yourself, okay, I'm going to go to work. I'm going to do my best because I'm an amazing provider and I love doing what I love to do. I came into healthcare to help patients. So I'm going to go, I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to do my best for my patients. But I'm also going to take a little step or a big step or whatever step you want to get to my true goal and your career goal, your personal goal, or whatever. And I'm going to get there. And I'm going to take this time as an opportunity to grow and expand so I can get to my true goal. And every day, wake up and do that. Still go to work and do your best because you are amazing. You are a great provider. You are a great nurse. You are great at what you do, and you went into this for a reason. And still go to that work and say, I'm going to do this. It's going to be a great day. I'm going to do my best, but I'm also going to get where I truly want to be. And I understand that, not only do we have jobs, but sometimes we have family responsibilities, and maybe you can't take a little step every day. Maybe it's taking a step once a week or however that looks for you. For me, if you think about it, I've been wanting to do this, as I said to you, over 7 years ago. I did try, it kind of didn't work out, but that's always been something that's been in the back of my mind. And over those 7 years, I have been watching videos on some businesses. I've been trying to do all this kind of stuff, but then having different jobs along the way. And always in the back of my head going, do I really want to be here? No, I really want to start my own practice. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to have my own business. This is something that's always been inside of me. Now, I'm not saying it's going to take 7 years for you. It may take sooner, but who knows what it'll take. But if you know what your goal is, or your end goal, and where you want to be, and you always wake up in the morning and say, today's going to be a great day. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to rock it. I'm going to be there for my patients. But I'm also going to learn, grow, and expand to get to my true place that I want to be. I it will get there, right? It may take a while. It may not take a lot of while. Who knows? But it's going to be your journey, and everyone's journey is different. But I truly believe that because I have always said, you know, this is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. And I kept learning and learning and going and going. And finally, here I am. I mean, I'm not completely there yet, but I'm getting there. And I'm so excited about the journey. I don't regret any of my jobs. I've had great experiences, even in the jobs that I was like, I really don't want to be here. This is not really working out for me. I've always had great experiences of learning and expanding during each of those jobs. That's absolutely 500%. And I am where I am because of every experience that I've had. So as you're in your job, and if you're not happy, see it as a completely different opportunity. See it as an opportunity for growth, for expansion, for getting one step closer to your true goal of what you want to do with your career or even your personal life. Maybe it's like, you're getting to the point where you're like, I want to retire. Maybe if I do my finances different or something like that, I can, or play the lottery, I could get there sooner. So who knows? But that's what I would like you to take away from today, is always seeing every job as an opportunity to grow and to expand, to get where you truly want to be, even if it's not really where you want to be. It's all good. It's totally good. And I know that if you put that out there, keep saying it, keep moving forward, you'll get to where you truly want to be. So that is my inspiration. Hopefully you found that inspiring for this week. Again, I love doing these. I'm really excited to bring you along this journey. I do have some other ideas of other shows that we're going to be doing as we keep going. So I'm really excited about that. Please make sure that you like, you share, and you subscribe to this channel. This is really going to help me grow and expand, and I would really appreciate your support in that. Always remember that this is my experience that I am telling you about. It's for educational purposes. If you're going to be starting your own private practice, make sure that you do your own due diligence, checking your state laws, your federal laws for wherever you are, checking with a lawyer. Please make sure that you do that. Just to make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's. So again, my name is Lori, the Telemedicine Chick. Very happy that I got to spend this time with you. I hope that you have an amazing week, and I will see you next week. And hopefully I'll give you a little bit of an update, maybe my logo, my EMR, my website, and all the fun stuff that I have been doing while I'm still working. And we're going to be getting there before you know it. Thank you so much, everybody, and I hope you have an amazing week. Bye-bye.